It happened again in Florida. Another child left 45 minutes in a hot car, almost dies left unattended in this Florida heat, which is a year-round problem, not just confined to our summers. To date, there have been 4 hot car deaths in Florida, which is number 1 in the nation right now. We also have the 911 call and body cam footage of the arrest of the offender coming up right now. Welcome to the new Florida Only podcast, where we cover stories originating in Florida that may have local, national, or international interest.
I've got a baby in a car that's locked in front of a parking lot. It seems to have labored breathing, but that's all I can tell from the outside of the vehicle.
And is the door locked?
I'm not attempting these days. I don't want to get shot.
Window down on the one side. Windows down. Come on, man. Are you kidding me?
You can hear the frustration in their voices.
Don't you see how hot it is out here?
Oh my God.
It's Florida.
Body camera video from Tavares police showing officers arresting a father whose 1-year-old daughter was left alone in a car.
She's being treated by EMS right now, bud. Because that's what happens when a child gets left in a hot car.
They placed Keita Jones in handcuffs. His arrest report shows the baby girl was left long enough for her car seat to reach triple-digit temperatures. He told police he was inside Publix completing an Instacart order.
I mean, why would you leave the kid in the car? Rated or not, man. This is my second Instacart. She got wet the first time.
Here's what I could gather from various news sources. A private citizen told Tavares Police Department in Florida he arrived at Publix, 2101 State Road 19 in Tavares on Sunday, June 11th, 2023 at around 5:30 p.m. Sunday and parked next to a small white car with the windows cracked open and noticed a baby in the car. He flagged down a Publix employee who was gathering carts, and she called 911, according to an arrest affidavit. And we just saw that 911 video placed by the employee. We know this happens in Tavares, Florida, which is in Lake County and is about an hour's drive to southeast to Disney from there. The father appears to be a grocery picker / driver for Instacart, which we know, of course, has a partnership with Publix to fulfill Instacart and Publix orders online or through the app. So apparently the father brings his daughter to work, and while fulfilling an Instacart order in a Publix store, he leaves his daughter behind in a hot car, apparently with no AC running, but the windows cracked open, and didn't want to get her quote-unquote wet, apparently referring to the rain that was in the area at the time. I'm not sure if he meant that's why he couldn't roll the windows down more or why he couldn't bring her in the store with him. Either way, it just doesn't make any sense. I looked up the temperature at that time on that particular date, and it was about 90 degrees Fahrenheit. If we go to the website goodcalculators.com and enter in 95 Fahrenheit for 30 minutes, we get a table back with proximity values for those input values. So in our news stories, it was about 90 Fahrenheit for about 45 minutes, meaning the inside car temperature had to be about 130 degrees Fahrenheit at the time EMS arrived. Although death didn't happen here, fortunately, organ damage and other health issues may have occurred. According to www.kidsandcars.org, historically since 1990, Florida has been second only behind Texas in child hot car deaths with 107. According to noheatstroke.org, there are currently 8 deaths so far in 2023 in the United States, with Florida sadly leading the way with 4 of those 8 deaths, or about 50%. And here's a table summarizing those 4 deaths so far in 2023. And as you can see, these 4 deaths are kind of scattered throughout Florida. I know these are 4 deaths, but that's still 4 too many. Moreover, what we don't seem to have a good stat on are heat-related injury statistics for kids in particular in Florida, or seniors or pets. And if you know of any resources, let me know in the comments. I would bet that this number is way higher than 4. So this is a problem, especially with Florida's year-round hot temps, of course, worse in the summer. What's interesting, and I wasn't really aware of this, but in 2016, March, HB, or House Bill 131, was passed and signed under Florida Governor Rick Scott, and it took effect in 2016. According to the bill text, it provides immunity from civil liability for damage to a motor vehicle related to the rescue of a person or domestic animal under certain circumstances. A domestic animal is used to describe a dog, cat, or other animal that is domesticated and may be kept as a household pet. This term does not include livestock or any other farm animals. So here are some key provisions of that law. Immunity for damage to a motor vehicle. A person who enters a motor vehicle by force or otherwise for the purpose of removing a vulnerable person or domestic animal is immune from civil liability for damage to the motor vehicle if the person, A, determines the motor vehicle is locked or there is otherwise no reasonable method for the vulnerable person or domestic animal to exit the motor vehicle without assistance. B, has good faith and reasonable belief based upon the known circumstances that entry into the motor vehicle is necessary because the vulnerable person or domestic animal is in imminent danger of suffering harm. C, ensures that law enforcement is notified or 911 is called before entering the motor vehicle or immediately thereafter. D, uses no more force to enter the motor vehicle and remove the vulnerable person or domestic animal than is necessary. E, remains with the vulnerable person or domestic animal in a safe location in reasonable proximity to the motor vehicle until law enforcement or other first responder arrives. So this law appears to be in effect. If you know otherwise, let me know in the comments. But as far as I know, this is still a valid law. And anyway, so I decided to make this video about this topic because I thought it was important to further raise awareness about this issue. We get a lot of visitors to Florida, people who are just moving here for the very first time, and they may underestimate how quickly a hot car can get in Florida. And things like cracking the windows open really doesn't do much. So spread that word about how ineffective that is. And if you're in a situation where you spot a trapped child, senior, or a pet in a hot locked car, at the very least, call 911 and do not ignore the problem. Because as you saw in the video, cars can get deadly hot in just a few minutes and cause severe harm. Now, I'm not going to advise you to take or break into a car in exigent circumstances. That's up to every single person to decide for themselves. But be vigilant and be aware, and do not ignore those suffering in this heat. Until the next video, take care, everyone, and I'll see you soon. Bye now.
For more awesome content, like and subscribe now.